Doing
Welcome
whatever
back to another episode of Beyond the Usual.
with me, Paula Zay.
We're gonna work on this coordination thing. We don't
Yeah,
hearing this, as y'all could tell. We just be going.
yeah. We really just go hit record and just be like, bam, here you go. But I think it's authentic like that. It's not scripted. Like we have our sayings, but it's more authentic that way. We're showing up as we go. Yeah. How you doing? You doing all right?
I am feeling good. I'm feeling lighter.
Mm,
We've released some things this week, so it's feeling I'm moving forward with intention and momentum.
mm.
Yes. How you
Moving
feel?
forward. I like that. I like that. Intention and momentum. I'm feeling really good actually. I'm in a really good headspace right now. Um, and I owe it to all of the practices that I do. Like lately, I've just really been into like my practices and my rituals that I practice. And I've noticed like a significant shift in my perspective, right? And and I think that that's just a testament, especially I think that's a good way to end the week because I feel like I'm gonna step into next week with so much like good energy and so many different possibilities because this whole week has just been spent like putting things in place. So that way, come next week, I can just execute. So I ain't gonna lie, I was down. I was kind of like down in the dumps for a little while, just looking at my situation from a negative standpoint. And when that happens, I like to take a moment to just kind of step back and really analyze, like, okay, why am I feeling this way? What am I viewing right now that is giving me the perspective that is making me feel the way that I feel right now? And so once I analyze that, then I go into shifting that. So, like I told you before we got on here, I've been reading this book called The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. And it talks about that a lot, about like shifting your mindset for more prosperous thinking so that way you can get more prosperous outcomes. And the thing about it is, it's not something that is like an immediate return. It's something that compounds over time. So the more you think about prosperous outcomes, the more you start to see evidence of that showing up in your reality. So that's how my week has been.
Well, I think, because I too had, some time where I was like down, but, just kind of even speaking to the topic that we're, going to go into about like failure, just having this lens of more of like just the negative connotation with your circumstances and sometimes seeing the gap of where you are to where you want to be.
Mm,
Um, and I think that's part of it. Like, because I used to have those like phases, and then I would feel guilty for having them. I would feel guilty for just feeling bad.
mm,
And that is a part of this human experience. It's ghetto. Don't get me wrong, it's ghetto out here. Like, but
definitely.
it's just a part of the journey. Um, and again, I think the shift now is that we don't stay in it, that you challenge it, that you question it, you get curious about it, and you allow yourself to take even the gold from it, like realizing that it's all data, it's all things that are going to help you to ascend and to transmute, energy, right? So just kind of shifting, like you said, just shifting the way we're thinking about it, and that helps us to be able to like move forward and then also like step more into um just being more in a space where we can receive guidance, because a lot of us feel stuck, I think, because of like we're just like, I don't know what to do, I don't, I can't hear my intuition, or I don't feel it, or like I just want, God or a sign or something, right? Like, but it's
Mm,
like a lot of times it's already there. We just don't have we haven't really sat our asses down enough to really be in tune with it. And then
mm,
to see it as like we just allow our ego to go off on a tangent of like what could go wrong and what's, the issue, and why it won't work.
Mm,
But if we actually, again, just kind of get still and get curious about it, it actually gives us a space to receive the divine guidance that is already there for us. It's already within, right?
hmm
Um, so yeah, and I think just unlocking that creativity for us to come up with solutions is a part of that too.
mm,
But a lot of us, we'd be trying to rush to find the answer or to have someone give it to us for it to be clear, right? But it's
mm.
like it's already in our DNA. Like that's the part that like blows my mind. It's like it's already there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Life is running its course. Like time. People, I think, often look at it as like from a time perspective, like, oh, I'm running out of time. I gotta do this before a specific time or whatever. But time isn't really running out. Life is just running its course. And when you look at it from that perspective, you you look at the thing that you're trying to do from a different angle. You're not looking at it from a place of like scarcity or lack, or you're trying to just rush to get it done because you feel like you're behind. But you look at it as, okay, this is a process, and I'm going to go through this process. And no matter what outcome that I'm looking for, I'm going to run this process. I'm going to run this race, right? And I think that the thing that happens is what you said about intuition. Intuition, so the word intuition, right? It's a Greek word, broken down, intuari, which means to know. And so a lot of us know what it is that we have to do, but we have a lack of faith in our action. We have a lack of faith in the actual doing of what it is that we have to do. And so it's like, I know what I got to do, but now you're doubting the action that you have to do, that you have to take in order to do the thing that you already know you need to do. And one thing that my mentor once taught me is like, you have to step into radical action because you can't see a result if you're not putting any motion behind whatever it is that you're trying to do. So you got to be moving some way, somehow. Like you got to be moving forward in order for you to see what it is that you're trying to get done. Because it's not going to look how you perceive it at first, but slowly but surely, the whole picture starts to get revealed. And it's like, oh, okay, this is how it's actually supposed to go. So the vision that you see is just like, it's like a template, right? It's not the complete vision, but it's just something to get you started on the right path. And I think a lot of us kind of go with the things that we see as opposed to the things that we feel within. And I
Mhm.
kind of got a note right here too, then, and we talked about it too in a live, which y'all can go check out. I'm actually I gotta send that to you too because I'm downloading it now. But the quote goes, "Doubt is created in the eyes, and faith is created in the ears." And so that's why this what we're doing right now is so important because this is instilling that faith and that trust within yourself to take that action despite how things may look. Even though it may look like you're behind, even though it looks like you may not have everything that you need, really in reality, you are already equipped to do the thing that you already set out to do. But you just have to take that action. You just have to take that step, right? Like even with us doing what we're doing right now, we literally just on the spot came up with a topic because again, this is just something we embody and we just go from there because we understand the value that we give, we understand the reps that we put in and the failures that we had to overcome, right? And we failed more times than we have succeeded in all of our endeavors, even in the way that we speak, even in the way that we teach, coach, all of it. We failed so much. But when people see us and we show up how we show up, they're like, dang, there's some high level stuff. How did y'all, like, how you come up with that? It's like, it's just a repeated pattern of steps taken over time, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah. And that's the thing, like we allow our ego and we allow our nervous system to kind of regulate how we move or the lack thereof movement, right? Because we don't want to fail. But one thing, a coach, Stacey Bayman, she talked about, she's an amazing coach. But she had this episode on her podcast and she talked about like failure gold. She
Mhm.
talks about how, she has this different outlook. Like she gets excited to fail. Like it's because it's like it gives you so much information, which I know we've talked about this before, but it's like we usually don't make a decision because, or we do, we just don't act on it, right? Because we're scared of like this potential negative outcome. But what
Mm,
if that negative outcome is supposed to happen and that's going to help be part of your blueprint, right? Like
mm,
I definitely felt like a failure as a mother, as a woman, I was in school to be a clinical mental health counselor. Like I felt like a failure on so many levels when I went to jail, right?
mm.
Like 3 times, like all the times.
Right.
And even as much as I thought it was like a failure, now this isn't about the like failing to act part, but just in general, the feeling like a failure, it became a part of my blueprint. The
Mm,
lessons that I learned from it, the data that I got from it, not only helped me to ascend to even a higher level, right? But also to um, become a part of the framework that I now teach clients. Like
mm,
I had to have gone through that. I had to have that experience, that like failure, in order to be where I am today.
mm,
So if we get to this point of looking at it, and honestly, if you look at it that way, it's almost like I can't fail.
mm,
Like I really can't do wrong.
mm,
Like I either, I tell clients you either win or it's a lesson. And if it's a lesson, it's still a win, right? Like so I win or I learn. At the end of the day, there's literally no failure. And even if I think failure is such a common word nowadays in in this day and time. Even if
mm.
you think of it like that, it's like, well, fuck, if I'm gonna fail anyway, let's fail fucking fast so I can succeed, so I
Yeah,
can master it. Let me get these reps in. Let me put my 10,000 hours in so I can become a master at this. And then I can, succeed. And then I can move on to the next thing because there's always going to be a next thing.
always. There's always the next thing. And here's the thing too about failure, right? You got to give things time. Like you've been doing this for years now, right? And you've failed a lot of times before you succeeded.
Yes.
Some people right now are in the beginning stages of their whatever their journey is. And they've probably only been doing it for like 6 months, and all of a sudden they just like they find themselves feeling inadequate. Like, dang, I can never be like X, Y, and Z, or I've been doing this for this long and I still don't get results. But the thing about it is, and this is me speaking to me too, because I had to tell myself the same thing. You haven't given it enough time to blossom. It's not gonna happen next month, next year. It's probably not even gonna happen in the next 2 years. It's probably gonna take three. That third year is probably when it takes off, right? It's like that quote that I've seen before, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it too. It's like you can start at 25, fail, start again at 30, get it right, fail again at 40, and still succeed, or whatever the case is. That's the thing about life is that everything that you experience, you bring it along with you. So again, like you said, it's never a loss. It's only a lesson. But you have to give things time. You have to give things time to progress and grow and evolve. Like one of the reasons why I love gardening is because it teaches a level of patience and a level of understanding. Because when you plant the seed, you're not gonna see it grow for a while. Like it's gonna take a couple months before you even see anything start to blossom. And then you don't dig it up and try to figure out like, oh, what's going on with the seed, right? You allow it to do what it's supposed to do. You continue to water it, you continue to provide nutrients so that way that seed can grow and blossom into whatever it is that you planted, but you have to give things time. And most importantly, you have to give yourself grace because you're probably doing something you've never done before, right? And you're doing it in a way that is uniquely to you. Like you can emulate somebody else, but at the end of the day, you're gonna figure out your own sauce and put it on there like how you do it, right? Like I used to emulate when I first started doing these, yeah. When I first started like doing like videos like this, I would emulate like one of my first mentors because I was like, dang, I like the way that he presents in his presentation, but I didn't have his acumen, I didn't have his background, I didn't have his language. So I had to figure out my own language. Like I would take little cues and snippets or whatever he would say and kind of add it to my own. But over time, I started to create my own like sauce. And as I grew and as I evolved and developed and I gathered more knowledge and information and things like that, I started to put my own spin on things. So the information was there, but I was putting it in a way that was digestible to the target audience that I was reaching out to. Because one thing my mentor always told me is like, you're probably going to go further ahead than me because you can reach a certain set of people that I can't because you can speak their language that I can't speak. So it's the same thing with whatever it is that you're doing. You speak a certain language that only the people who need you to speak it can understand it. So you got to give yourself time to develop your own language, develop your own sauce. Because once you get it, once you got it, you'll know because you'll just take off. You'll just take off and you'll be like, dang, I finally got it figured out. But you got to have time and patience.
Yeah. And honestly, I think even when I got it, and I think there's levels to it, right? But I think even when I got it, like it was a thing that I had been looking for so long. And it's wild because when I look back, when I got it wasn't an immediate like, oh my gosh, it's happening. It was like a, oh shit, this shifted. Like, and it was like a, like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, I don't know if you ever read something and then you kind of realize like you're not really present reading it. And then you go back because you're like, wait, what? Did I just miss a whole chapter or something? You know what I mean? Like, you like, maybe I missed some pages. And like, you
Mhm.
find yourself like rereading it again. That's like how it felt. Like, it was like, I looked back in time and was like, oh snap. Like I'm not thinking like this anymore. I didn't
Mhm.
like repeat that same pattern anymore. Like, I don't know, like I'm trusting myself now. It wasn't an immediate like, oh my gosh, this is wild. It was like a oh wow, look at us. Like we shifted in time and it was like it was kind of like we're already like, moving in another direction. It was just. But again, that just speaks to the like being present and truly like allowing yourself to be patient and enjoy the journey because that's what it is. It's not so much the success. And one thing that you mentioned too, um, you mentioned like maybe you have success and then you kind of like fail again.
Mhm.
And I think that's an important point because there's a lot of times that people will see glimpses of success, right? Like they'll get the thing, maybe it's the money, or they'll go viral, or it'll be like something, right? Like that they'll get, but it's temporary.
Mhm.
And then when it goes away, it becomes very dysregulating for people because then they see that as an even, they see it more of a failure than the sign for them to keep going, right? And this is why I kind of like that you've kind of talked about like gardening and stuff. Because when you think about plants, what is so important for plants? Not only just that you water it, but the environment it's in, the soil
Mhm.
that's around it, which is
Mhm.
why community is so important on this journey. That's why it's important. What are the one of the two things that me and you have in common? Is that at some point we had a mentor, a coach, somebody, and then we found community, right? Because like you realize, dang, the community I got ain't the community I need, right? Like, but it shifts as we start to ascend and we start to learn and we start to heal and things like that, and we progress, we start to become more in alignment with the people that are on that same wavelength. But it's so important for us to find the soil that is going to support the growth. Because if you don't have the right type of community and environment,
Mhm.
when you have those moments that you feel like a failure, they're gonna validate that failure more than likely. Like, and be like, well, maybe it wasn't meant for you, or like you're not going to get the data and the information and the support that you need to keep ascending. Right. It's
Mhm.
going to be probably more of like a stall, or, maybe you might even like throw the thing away because you're like, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Mhm.
it just wasn't it. Right. But no, a coach is going to be like, oh, so you just going to quit? Oh, so you just don't want, you know what I mean? Like they're gonna challenge you to
Mhm.
like defend. the fact that like no, we not quitting. We're on this journey. This is what we came here for, right? Like rather than just kind of like feeling like we need to retreat and things like that. So I just say that because it's so important. I think it could be very dysregulating and it leads us to want to like fall back or
Yeah.
throw, like how they say, throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Which as a mom, I've definitely wanted to throw the baby out because
Mm.
sometimes they shit and it's all over and it's like I don't, yeah. Anywho. So yeah,
Uh,
like I think that's important to know that the environment is so important because it can literally make or break us, especially when you're in the beginning stages, that growth stage, right? When we're very vulnerable and um sensitive, like we could be very sensitive in the beginning, especially when we start to, heal and stuff, especially in the beginning of your business, like, right?
mhm.
Like that's the part where you touch us and it's tender, like, the hurts hurt deep.
Yeah, yeah, for real.
So,
Nah, for real. That's true. I like this. I like this because growth is so subtle. Like you don't even like really you don't recognize growth. A lot of people do not recognize growth until like you get an aha moment. It just slaps you in your face like, oh. Like you just notice it out of nowhere. Like you got this mindset of just like you overthink and you always like are contemplating like, dang, am I really good? Am I ready? Am I this and I that? But growth sneaks up on you and it lets you know when you're ready because it's like you all of a sudden you just show up differently out of nowhere. And it'll be years and you just be putting in work for years and days and months. And then all of a sudden it's like you just pop up and it's like, huh, I'm showing up kind of differently. Like I didn't know I could show up like this, right? And I think it's beautiful because I think about this song by J. Cole, right? And he says, I give up, I give in, I move back a little, I live up, I look up, now I'm back for more. And I think that's just a continuous process that we go through. Is like you said before, it hurts at first, but then you come back and then it's like, oh, okay, it doesn't hurt as much this time. It still hurts, but it doesn't hurt that much this time. And then you may fall back just a tad bit, but then you come back and it's just like, okay, okay, all right. So all of this is just building more and more resilience within yourself and building confidence within yourself because there was one point in my journey where I wasn't showing up as the person that I had become. Like I was so doubtful and self-conscious about all of the knowledge and information that I gathered that I thought maybe this isn't enough or maybe this isn't feasible for my audience or whatever it is that I was trying to do. But when I presented myself, when I presented my knowledge, when I presented the things that I learned, people were fascinated and it was like, how did you learn? How did you know this? How did you learn that? Where did this come from? How did you get like it drew intrigue, it drew interest. And those are those little sneak ups when it comes to growth. Like you don't realize it, but when you do, it's just like it's just a slap in the face. And it's like, maybe I have grown, right? And it puts things in perspective. And that's how you know you've reached a new level. And that's how you know, oh, I got a new mountain to climb now. Like we be climbing up a mountain so much that we don't even realize when we reach a peak because we're looking at the next level. Like we're always looking at the next thing and the next thing. But I think you said it before, we don't really take the time to necessarily see how far we've come and how much progress we've made. But life will show you how far you've come and how much progress you made through just certain instances. Like you just never know.
yeah. And I think that's good because I think there's subtle signs of that growth that maybe we don't even see as signs.
Mhm.
Um, because it's like when you think about it, you think like I'm picturing somebody like climbing a mountain and then like you see the another peak, like you see the another level that you want to go up because it's like you made it, but then you don't realize like you've made it to this peak and that you're just attempting to climb another part of it, right? And it's like I'm imagining like a person looking down below, like look at all this growth, look at all this like momentum that I've gotten. And I think there's subtle signs, like now that I'm thinking about it, like friendships that ended
Mm.
was a sign of that growth, but I didn't see it as that at the time. I saw it as like failed friendships. I saw it as like, what did I do? Or, oh, this person is this. But it's really like, it was nothing wrong. It was just we were just out of alignment. And it was just showing that we just weren't on that same wavelength anymore, you know? And so that is a sign that I think most people don't even look at. Like when things end, connections or maybe business partnerships, things like that. Like we can look at that as a sign of growth instead of looking at those things as failures, you know? And again, what can I learn from it? What can I take from it? How can I take part of this, even the hurt and the lessons and all of that, into my next level?
Mm,
What can I teach if I had like a mentee, what would I teach them after this experience?
mm,
And if we were to look at it like that and be able to kind of be more neutral about it, I think we would go a lot like further quicker in life, you know. But I know we're human and we're in this experience, so some of those things like we have to process the grief, the loss, the sadness of what was, right? Like because a lot of times we don't plan for connections to end, we don't plan for things to end, right? It's just this unfortunate set of circumstances. um but at the end of the day, yeah, like it's signs that we miss that we tend to just have we tie the negative connotation to it, and we make the meaning of it be negative versus actually looking at it as, oh, this is a sign that I'm moving into another direction. We're making space for more aligned things, right?
true that. True that. You know, I want to give some steps right now to people who are looking for that next level or are looking to identify how to get to that next level. What are some things that for you that helped you to identify when you were ready for that next level, or like how did you know that you was already like at that level? And how did you get there? Like what were some of the things that you did like consistently consistently that helped you to like get to where you are now?
To answer the first part, I think part of like when I felt like I had gotten like I reached a new level was
Mhm.
when I was no longer just trying to reach a new level. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, but it was like I felt like most of in the beginning part of my journey, um, I was always trying, like, I was like, okay, I want to listen to my intuition. I want to be guided by, like my spirit guides, and I want to reach this thing, and I want to be able to do this and have this success. And it was like I was searching for outside of me. And I think the shift was realizing that it's all there. We just gotta like clear through the brush and like to really be able to receive, and
Mhm.
getting quiet and getting still, to be able to see that, yeah, the answer is already here for us. But I think, yeah, the level for me was just realizing like I was no longer like grasping for things outside of me as answers. And don't get me wrong, I say that the caveat is like new levels, new devils, right? So like I still had periods, especially in my business, where I was like, oh, I need to like do all these things and again, still searching outside of me, but it all came back to the same thing. When I finally found peace and understanding, it was like, okay, I don't need these things. Like these things are good. It's good to get the coach. It's good to get like guidance and all these things, but I don't need them, you know?
Mhm.
And I think
Mhm.
a shift for me, because there was a period, especially when I was like, after I'd hit that like version of rock bottom for myself and started like really being intentional on my healing journey, I was getting all the readings. I was getting, I was like anybody that like I felt could give me information about me. Like it was like, tell me about me. And I think the shift, like when I realized, like, oh, okay, I'm doing all right. It was like when I no longer was doing that. Like,
Mhm.
I was no longer like trying to have somebody be an expert on me.
Mhm. Okay, I like that. I like that.
Um, and what was the second part? You said the steps.
Yeah, like what are some steps that you took? Like what was that point where you hit that consistency that like when you found like okay, this is working. let me just continue to do this. Like, what was that point where you hit that stride?
Yeah, because I mean the steps were messy. Like it was messy. It felt like, progress, and then it felt like I was taking steps back. Then it felt like something would happen and it would just be like then I had to like focus on something else. It was just a lot of, it was a maze. But I think one of the consistent things that really kept me on my journey was a combination of community, just sticking around people that stretched me and expanded me in ways, and plant medicine and breath work. Like those were the three things that really helped me because the breath work helped me to feel my power. Because,
Mhm.
like, if you do breath work, you know that it can almost give you, like, it gives you the feeling of certain types of breath work, like as if you did take some, like, type of plant medicine or, like some type of, like, like drug or something like that, right? Um, and it helped me to really like feel into my power and tap into things that I would kind of bypass on the day to day.
Mhm.
And then plant medicine helped me really to regulate my nervous system because I was an overthinker, and I had insomnia, like really struggled to go to sleep and all these things. But when I took like plant medicine for the first time and I took Hape, it was just like, I was like,
Hmm.
I wasn't hearing all the things, like all the noise. And that
Hmm.
was like mind blowing to me. And I wouldn't, without the assistance of the plant medicine, even though I know I already had it within me, but without that support and that assistance from the plant medicine, I would have not experience that in the way that I did. Um, and then the community, as we talked about, it just being important to, help to see. Because there was a lot of times over the years where I've had people that would literally in just conversation, they would say something, and I'm like, you can do that? Or you can have that boundary? You can have this gift? You can, you know what I mean? Like it was just like things that just really like blew my mind and expanded me beyond this like box that I grew up in, Like it was just like, wow, there's so much more. There's so much abundance and so much even when you think like you have this goal and you have these like things that you want to achieve, but it's like you have this path, even though a lot of times it don't happen in the way that, you plan for it to, but having community helps you to see there's stuff over here. And then there's stuff over there too. Like there's so much, and that has honestly been a beautiful part of my journey. But it was also the challenging part too, because I had to go through that period of like you said, like with your mentor, when you started talking, he was trying to like emulate him, right? Like, and I found myself doing that a lot. Like I would hear a girl that like went through her shroom journey, or a girl that like was more intuitive and she did readings, and I'm like, oh, that resonates. Like maybe I should do that. Maybe I should get into tarot. Maybe I should like, start this business and all this. And it was just like, girl, you have to create your own blueprint. But I didn't know that, I was just like so fascinated and like, well, if it worked for them, maybe that's the thing for me. So community was beautiful, but it came with its challenges because, sometimes when you're still trying to figure things out, we take things on to mean like, oh, it's for us. When no, it's just data.
Hmm. I like that. I like that. Community can create a camouflage sometimes, you know. But that's cool though. I like that. So for me, I would say I started using like my emotions as indicators. I think that's when I started to see the evolution in me because I would just face things that I was afraid of. And then once I faced those things and I wasn't afraid of it anymore, I would just keep the momentum going in whatever path that me facing that fear put me on. And so once I found myself feeling like those feelings of like doubt or like second guessing, I use that as an indicator letting me know like, okay, this is a new level. Like I'm reaching a new level. I don't know how to navigate this yet, but I know that this is something new for me to explore. This is a new challenge for me to face and overcome. And so throughout my journey, I've just been just facing things that were uncomfortable. And I attribute that to just how I came up, like growing up with my mom, my dad, and being in the military. A lot of the things that I faced, for one, they taught me what I didn't want, like what outcomes I didn't want and what things I didn't want to experience. And it taught me just how to overcome like uncomfortability. Like, cause I was in a lot of uncomfortable situations and I was just like, oh, I hate this. I don't like this. This sucks. This, that, whatever the case is. And it just created it helped me create a lot of resilience to be like, okay, if I don't like this outcome, I can change it. I don't know how yet, but I can, like you said, get in communities or I can seek guidance from somebody who I feel like is further along their journey and I can get advice from them. And so what I would do too, I would like pull bits and pieces from places. Like I would see things I would like, and I'd be like, that's pretty cool. Let me explore that. Let me see what that's like. And then it was like, okay, that's not really for me, but I can take a little piece from that. And over time, I just started to develop my own philosophy for life, just based on all the experiences that I had. And so I took that, and again, I would go through that same process of using my emotions as indicators, and I would go through that same phase of if I'm afraid of something, I'm gonna face it and I'm gonna continue on the trajectory that put me on that road of facing that fear. And then again, if I feel that doubt or that second guessing, it's a new level. So let me go back and learn something else. And then I add to my philosophy and I continue on the path. And that's just how I've been operating my life this whole time. And I have notes on notes on notes just based on things that I've heard, things that I've read, people I've spoken to, and even in my own dialogue. I like to do thought exercises because um I forgot where I learned this from. I forgot who I learned this from. But there was like information is good, but don't overload yourself so much because then you start to muddle your own thinking because now you're taking on somebody else's thought process and it's not yours. And then you start to do things and you're not getting certain results. And you're asking yourself, like, why am I not getting results? Like, why is this not working for me? Because you're not operating off of your own natural thinking. So I like to just sometimes sit in silence or sit in nature and just ponder or just think about things like and just figure out, okay, where's this thought coming from? And then I explore that thought and I'll write it down. If I get a thought or inspired idea, I would write it down and I would look at it and I would just kind of go in depth with that idea and just be like, I wonder what this means. What does that mean? Where does this come from? Where did I pick this up from? Is it my own natural thinking or was it influenced by something that I've seen? But let's explore it. And so that's for me how I've navigated my growth process. And um that's what helped me to keep on a trajectory of growth that I've had over the course of years. And maybe that'll help you too. Like maybe that'll help somebody who's watching right now to identify how they can grow in their own journey. Because everybody's journey is unique. And all we're doing is just applying or giving you tools that you can apply in your own life. You don't have to do every single thing that we tell you, but you can take little bits and pieces from here and there and you can apply it to your own life and just be like, okay, that works for me. Okay, that works for me. But the thing about it is, and you said it before too, you need to have these environments to challenge your thought process because the way that you're thinking might not be conducive to your growth and where you're trying to head to. So we have these dialogues so that way you can agree or disagree, but nonetheless, these dialogues are for you to think. Because if you don't know how to think, you don't know how to, you just don't know how to take the next necessary steps to put you where it is that you desire to be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So, I mean, just giving people just, the clear steps. I would say, like you said, kind of tap into the emotions of it. Just kind of going back to thinking our original topic about like failure, right? Like, so if you have that,
Mhm.
tap into how you feel about it. I would say express it. And I tell my clients, you can do you can do different methods. You can journal about it, you could talk about it in therapy, you can I tell people like do a voice note, because a lot of times when things happen and we're really activated, you want to say shit that you may not actually say to the person, right? Like, so allow yourself the space and the privacy to journal or voice note about it without like a filter, right? Like, allow yourself to truly express. If you want to say F that person, you know what I mean? Like, cool. If you want to be petty, be petty. Allow yourself to actually process what's happening through you so that the emotion, because emotion is what? Energy and motion, right? And you need to like allow it to move. And that way, you actually can be more empowered and be more neutral. If you express it, then you can be more neutral. And when you're neutral, you can respond in a more grounded way, right? Like, and then you can also look at the scenario or situation in a more, as a, what do you call it? What do you call it? A,
A um,
like a person watching.
a viewer,
Basically, but the other word, whatever. Anywho, yes, you can you can basically be, there's another word for it. Like,
observer,
huh?
observer.
Yes. There we go. Jeez. Yes, so you can actually be more neutral and be an observer to the scenario. And then you can actually extract the data, right? Like you can extract, what did I learn from this? What would I do different, if this scenario was to happen again? Or what could I have shifted? Or where did I not have the boundary? Whatever information, so that the next time can be a win, right? Rather than the lesson, it could be a win. So I think the emotions is a big piece of that. And then yeah, getting neutral so you can move forward, figure out what to do and move forward and take the lesson with you. So hopefully you took something from this. It was a good conversation. Um, yeah, and I would love to hear, a takeaway that you have in the comments. Of course, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, until next time, y'all, just remember, growth doesn't happen in the usual places.
And neither do we.
Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Beyond the Usual podcast, where we don't just talk about it.
We go beyond it.
Peace, y'all.
Peace. Peace of progress.